This is Rare Media. To whom it concerns, welcome to the panel.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Tony Brown, and welcome.
Okay, good evening to Brad.
Welcome to this edition of the panel. And at the moment, there's Tony and myself. We have one or two more who are running a bit late. But on Thursday, the 11th of September, and this program is live now on Facebook. And if you want to interact with it, feel free to do so. You can make comments or listen text, and we will do our best to read them out for you. Anyway, welcome. We have one viewer already. Thanks very much for that. Well, anyway, as I'm going to say, we're going to start off, I suppose, on a rather sad note tonight, because a man who I admired very much myself personally was shot down. In his prime.
Oh,
Charlie Kirk, when he was speaking yesterday in the University of Utah.
I thought there was somebody from town who were going to tell me about.
Charlie was a fearless speaker of free speech. He was shot down by an ideology that disagrees with him. That's the best way I could put it. Anyway, these are my own words. And we pause with heavy hearts to honour the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. Though he has left the world, his voice, his vision, and his courage remain etched in the soul of America. Charlie lived with a fire for truth, a devotion to God, and an unshakable love for his nation. He stood unafraid in the face of opposition, unwavering in his convictions, and resolute in his belief that freedom is a gift entrusted to us by our Creator. That was Charlie Kirk. He was married and he has two small children. So, yes, but I mean, it is sad when he was assassinated. They didn't find the shooter yet, but they have circulated who they believe could be the suspect in his shooting. I mean, there's lots of shootings.
Have the mercy in him. Was he Catholic? And was he any faith at all, I wonder?
Well, he was a Christian.
He
was a Christian and a very devoted believer as well in his faith, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was a horrific killing, and hopefully the perpetrator will be brought to justice in the near future. That was Charlie Kirk. And if anybody has any thoughts on the man or any opinions on him, you can feel free to send us your comments here into the show, and we will most certainly read them out for you. Or if you want to come on here yourself, you're welcome as well. Now we'll be here for another hour or so anyway, Tony and myself. And what I was saying, the presidential race, as said.
Who's getting that funeral, I wonder now?
Huh?
Who's going to get his funeral? Will it be Crosses or will it be Griffins?
Well, I mean, he will have a very state funeral, because he was very close to the president. President Donald Trump of America. He was close to the president, a good friend of his. So there will be a decent funeral for the man, so to speak. Anyway,
should the Americans go to no funerals? You know, they show off and get fire shots and all that, and that's all they'll do. You know, well, I know it's true.
There's no shots being fired.
The funerals. There's some people who go to nobody's funeral.
Yeah.
You know.
Since we were with you last, we have 3 declared candidates now for the presidency. We have Jim Gavin. Is it Jim? Yeah. Jim Gavin, is it? Of Fianna Fáil. Helen Humphreys of Fine Gael. And Catherine Connolly an independent of the ex-Labour Party member, Catherine Connolly. So those 3 candidates are in the field at the moment. Whether there'll be any more joining them, we don't know. We don't know that. But I just want to play you a little clip, in case you missed it, about the presidency.
Simon Harris tells all Fine Gael councillors, so that's the 3rd biggest party in Ireland, that under no circumstances are they to allow independent candidates onto the ballot for the presidential election. What's happened to our democracy, friends? In a directory sent out to all Fine Gael councillors, Simon Harris has told them that should any vote to nominate an independent candidate to appear on the ballot, that Fine Gael councillors are obligated to oppose the motion. This is an affront to democracy, says Chris, and he's quite right. This is an insult to the Constitution that Micheál Martin was just applauding a few minutes ago. And this is a flagrant act of tyranny by Hardman Harris. He's about as hard as a hollow pencil, I think. Councils and councillors should be free from their party whip to nominate a worthy independent to appear on the presidential ballot. And then he mentions Maria Steen. Maybe look at her next week. To prohibit others from appearing on the ballot is dictatorial, autocratic, tyrannical. Simon Harris is a disgrace to this country.
Well, I mean, that was the diktat given. Don't you think of that, Tony?
I wouldn't say that. If they're members of the party, don't you know they'll vote for their own candidate?
Yeah.
That's like as he's a Pope Catholic, you're joking me. Of course they'll vote for their own man.
But this is not voting in the election.
You're not going to change that. We discussed this already.
But this is preventing people to get on the ballot, which I think it has shone a light on the undemocratic way that people have to get their name on the ballot.
Well, it's not going to happen. Sure, all the Fine Gaelers vote Fine Gael, all the Fianna Fáils vote Fianna Fáil. That's how.
But that's when it comes to the election. I'm talking about before the election, trying to get a candidate's name on the ballot paper. And it seems to me, if you're not a member of Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael, you cannot get your name on the ballot paper. That's fundamentally wrong. That's fundamentally wrong.
To the TDs, they don't care. They'll all vote with their own man. Joking me. They don't care.
But the point I'm making is, it's not about their own man or woman. It's trying to get your name on the ballot to run for office, and it's being and it's not being allowed under the present system. So therefore, if that is the case, the system has to be changed.
No, if they want to go on, they can go on. If somebody wants to get nominations, they can. They can't tell you. He's only telling them they'll be what they say, toughed out of the party. So what? If you're interested, there's nothing going to stop you doing it. They won't do it.
Well, apparently Fianna Fáil picked a non-member of their party, Jim Gavin.
Yeah, so that's the proof of the way they
are. So
are.
I mean, I don't know why they'd be voting against any other candidate being on the ballot paper, not for them in the election, but being on the ballot paper.
Well, ask a Fianna Fáil man that, why she voting. That's nothing you can do about that. So look at the way the Buck family are being treated up in Mayo. I mean, it's disgraceful. It's unreal the way they're being treated, the family. The way a judge can actually put a man into prison. And I'd love to know who the judge is. Is he proud of himself? What has he got children? That his children know what he's doing? I mean, it's disgraceful the way that the Buck family have been treated.
I agree with you there. This is Enoch Buck himself. This is Enoch Buck himself now speaking about himself.
Well, I work here. This is my workplace. I'm a teacher here at Wilson Hospital School. I'm a teacher of German history. I'm on the payroll. And this is where I should be today. This is my workplace. We're back to school since Thursday. First Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, I was there in the corridor with them. This is where I have a right to work. I'm on the payroll. I'm a teacher of German history. You know what this is about. Yeah. It goes back to 2022, where I was instructed by Principal Niamh McShane to use the they pronoun for a young boy. I don't agree with that. It's not the ethos of this school. This is a Church of Ireland school. The mission statement commits the school to distinctive Christian practice and teaching, and that's what I was employed under. And it's not my belief to call a young boy they. I find that unreasonable. It's not my belief. And I not only find it unreasonable, I find it immoral and wrong and harmful to a young boy to call him that. And this isn't just about me. This is happening all throughout the country, in schools all around this country. Students, teachers are being instructed to teach this and to tell children something that they believe is wrong and that they know is wrong. This isn't just about me, it's that it's happening all around the country and it's wrong. And it's my responsibility to do what's right, and it always will be. It always will be my responsibility. And people are being forced around the country, teachers are being forced to teach something that they believe is wrong. And people are being made to feel they don't have a choice. But you always have a choice to do what's right.
But are you not afraid of going back to prison, Enoch?
No, you have a responsibility to do what's right. Everybody has a responsibility, and nobody can take that away from you. The responsibility to do what's right, especially as a teacher. You always have the responsibility.
But are you not worried about going back to prison?
I am here to do my job. And you know yourself, this is my 8th year now teaching at Wilson's Hospital School. And 4 of those years, starting in 2022, 23, 24, and now 2025, I have come back and had to stand essentially either in the corridor or outside the door. And that's very wrong. And it's a disgrace that could happen in a country where you're guaranteed freedom of religion and freedom of conscience. And this year, as you well know, not only do I have to stand in the corridor and am I being stopped from teaching and doing my duty, but my salary has been stripped from me. And I still get paid. I mean, I could show you, I have in my pocket here my pay slip. So I'm still on the payroll. This is from earlier this month. I'm still on the payroll here at the Department of Education.
But now they're taking the money out of your bank account.
Yes, I'm still on the payroll. This is my salary. This is what I'm entitled to, as is every teacher in this country. When you come, you put your diesel in your car, you do a day's work. But every penny of this is being diverted from my account because of the Attorney General, Rossa Fanning, of this government. He was a promoter of LGBT. He's a millionaire. That's his ideology. That's his priority. As the legal advisor to this government, as the Attorney General of this government, his priority is to divert every single penny of my salary from my bank account. That's
and how are you surviving it?
He would leave me without any clothes on my back or shoes on my feet. I have a family. I'm grateful for the support of my family, from those who know me, who know I'm a person of integrity and a person of morals. But I would just say, to strip somebody, you know, the government has a lot of money, and it's involved in a lot of different causes, gives money to lots of different causes. But its priority when it comes to religious belief is to take the money, to take every single penny from people who have a religious belief and who have a conscientious objection to something that's wrong.
And how
I would say simply, that's a long way from Article 44.2.1, which says that freedom of religion and freedom of conscience is guaranteed to everybody in this country.
No, in my opinion, if anybody is looking for a man of principle to run for the president, there's one there for you now.
But all the TDs don't care. They couldn't care less about him. You know, they're just not. I saw an interview he tried to do with Charlie Flanagan, who was a Minister for Justice, a Minister for Justice. He nearly had a stroke when he was approached with the cat. He ran away, a coward. He wouldn't even answer the questions, you know. And he a Minister for Justice he was. Can you imagine, God, the mentality of this country, you know? And he just would not answer the questions, and he just walked away from them.
I thought he made an interesting point there when he's still being paid his salary. Yet the Attorney General, Rossa Fanning, he said, who was a millionaire, was taking every penny off him.
But who cares about him? The TDs don't care. The judge doesn't care. The judges he was up before, they couldn't care less. They'll say they're doing the job. To me, they're not. You know, they basically don't care.
I think that he's preparing a case to go to the European Court of Justice now. I wish him well with that. Well, you saw what happened about Apple as well, and they avoided the penalties imposed. They lost their case in Europe, and they still have to pay up.
Between Apple and him now, big difference altogether. I mean, he's only a family.
We wish him well, and we won't forget. Don't forget the injustice that's being done to him by the state, by the present government. When you go to cast your ballot in the next election.
Have you seen the one about his brother? Have you seen the video of his brother being asked? And the guy's been brought up, and he said that they perjured themselves in court, and there's nothing happening about him. He named the guard and all. He didn't interview.
Well, unfortunately, the country that we're in, the sadness of it is that things take a long time to work their way through the system, as you know. I mean, we see the court, how it operates at local level, district court level. You can go into any of your courthouses during the week and have a look to see the procedure and what's happening.
Oh, the system is unreal. I told you before, I often, when many's the time I go up and just stand there and listen to the cardiology that goes on. It's unreal. And the guards are nearly trembling in front of the judge. You know, to believe watching them. Yes, Your Honour. What justice? Yes, Your Honour. It is unreal. And they can basically do what they like. You know, they're not answerable to anybody. You know, the whole system is crazy. You know,
And that's
in a 30 zone for 50 euros, and so and who gets all this money? You know, the guards seem to, I don't think, get any of it. You know, the government just go, why would they bother? You know, you kind of wonder. I don't know. The whole system is crazy.
Recently, our TDs and senators came back from their long summer holidays, and somebody took a photograph of them coming off the plane.
Irish government returning from 9 to 10 weeks summer break.
Yeah, but they're laughing. They're being paid every week, don't forget. You know, huge pensions being paid out. How many pensions to TDs are being paid out? How much is it costing? There's no talk about that. How much every week is a TD getting? There's TDs, I know they were in Limerick before. They're all on pensions. How much are they getting? It's unreal, the amount of money being paid out in pensions.
I think what we'll do some week in the program is I look it up on the website, and I'll get just a breakdown on a few people on what their earnings are, and we can have a chat on it then, you know. Now, if anybody has a comment to make on the show about anything or any other issue, you're welcome to do so, you know.
I saw as well on another thing the other day where the Minister for Justice, Ewan's brother, what's her name? The one to be on the television. Jeez, I can't think of her name this minute now.
Miriam O'Callaghan.
O'Callaghan, yeah, Jim O'Callaghan. He's minister. He was up in Loughlin House above in County Cavan.
Yeah.
I thought to be there to ask him, does he know what he is? You know, did he know about it? Just because he's the Minister for Justice, they're all in out. And when you see somebody on the television, they're all standing behind them, like cows over a hedge, all standing behind to get their photos on, you know. And I was watching this thing above in Loughlin House, and I saw Brendan Smith, I think, was one TD up there. All the local TDs and councillors. A fella had a chain on him, and I saw better in a toilet, and they're cut onto the old tanks, the chains, you know. But big chains and all around them. Do they not feel stupid, you know, going around like that? They don't, I suppose, they're being well paid. You know, fellas kind of feeling important, you know. It's like the old story, give a fella a hat, and he'll go all the way, you know. And you give a fella with a chipboard under his arm, you know, and a hat. And
Good evening, Guy Jones. Good evening, Guy Jones, and welcome.
How are you doing, Guy? We were there, like, check your
Have to put on your sound. Have to put on your sound. Yeah.
We should be using sign language here. Can't hear you. No.
No.
I'm all right.
We'll introduce you to our listeners. This is Guy Jones, the chairman of the Irish Lebanese Cultural Foundation. And we just got a comment in on 9. We were talking before you came on about candidates, how they get the name on the ballot to run for President of Ireland. And one comment here from Positive Energy: candidates should be free to nominate themselves and let the debates begin. I suppose that's one way of looking at it, you know. Now, Guy is just back from Argentina, is it? Argentina?
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. Now, he wasn't speaking in English, mind you, but we'll speak English on this program, so we'll stick to the vernacular so people can understand us. And what was the conference on, Guy? that you were
It
at?
is about, yeah, it was just last week. It was Friday and Saturday last week, 5th and 6th of September.
Yes.
Now, it was called by a center of immigration, of Lebanese immigration to Argentina, a group of a congress of writers and readers for Lebanon, which is very dedicated to. Very interesting, very, very interesting, because my presentation was more about Irish and Lebanese relations.
Yes.
And I found
yes.
among the audience, I found people who are Irish Lebanese, Argentinians, Irish Lebanese Argentinians, which means, and I found quite a few. Interestingly enough, the second largest community in Argentina is actually Irish. The first one is Italian, and the third one is Lebanese. That is, to give you a little bit of numbers, we're talking about Lebanese of about 1,200,000.
Yeah.
So then you know what's the scale of the Irish in Argentina. It's huge. It's huge.
There's a huge connection between Ireland and Argentina, historically going back, as well.
An Irishman that founded the Argentine, that founded the Navy in Argentina, John Barry.
William Brown, Admiral William Brown.
And he was in Wexford.
No, it looks like he was from either Mayo or Castlebar.
Brown was from Mayo, but Barry was from Wexford.
Barry.
There's a big statue to him below Wexford to Barry.
Okay.
And he was there was an offer. There were hundreds, thousands of Irish went out to Argentina in the 1840s, and went to live in what were known as the Pampas.
Yeah,
they became grouchers, cowboys, really, I suppose. The only thing that stopped them was the Spanish language at the time, but they weren't long learning that. There's a huge Irish contingent out there.
I referred to Father Anthony Fahy. He was a prior in the Black Abbey here in Kilkenny. He was dispatched as a chaplain to the Irish community in Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
And his social work was so important that actually shifted the balance of being an Irish person working in the field for somebody else to be the owner of the fields, and therefore the prosperity of the Irish community was very much thanks to his work and another associate of his.
Father Fahy, you said, was it Father Fahy from Kilkenny?
Anthony Fahy. Anthony Fahy. This is amazing.
There was a huge Irish contingent went out, Of course, the bad thing was then look at all the Nazis that went there after the Second World War. A great place for them to go to as a thought. It was far away, nobody would catch them out there, so many of them went out to live in Argentina. They used to go out through Odessa and onto Argentina.
Did your man die out there, that chap, that Dr. Mengele?
Yes, he was.
Did he go to Argentina? Oh, yeah.
They were there for a long time, some of them,
I had a bit of an anecdote there. I met this gentleman. He introduced himself as being Irish. He said, when my family came over, they were five brothers, and now we are 5,000, and that's in a city called Rosario.
Rosario, yeah.
I said, and what is your surname? And then he said, Cusheen, he said. I said, I've been in Ireland for 26 years. I've never heard of a family Cusheen. So I said, how do you spell your name? He said, it's Cullen. So I said, you're bloody Daniel Cullen.
Cullen.
That's a very Irish name, but Cusheen.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty Collins in Ireland, yeah.
Pronounced as a sh, so the double L in his name is a sh in Rosario. So that's Cusheen.
There used to be years ago when people had a pain in their head, they used to take a thing called a Mrs. Collins powder. it was a little, an anodine is what it was. And it came in a little package, just crunched up into a powder. It's like cocaine. And you open this little packet and you put
Dump
it
in the water.
and a Mrs. Collins powder. My aunt used to take them for a headache. You took Mrs. Collins powder, they'd probably be illegal now to sell.
Don't say so.
Are you saying that your aunt was on cocaine, was she?
Oh, yeah, Mrs. Collins powder. You know.
We're not very kosher, are we?
How did you get to Argentina? What way did you travel from?
I traveled to the US first to New York, and then I took another flight, New York to Panama, Panama to Rosario. And of course, it is a long flight anyway, but I mean, the difference in price by the ticket was enormous. So I said, look, the hell with it. I just do this route rather than taking.
So you had 3 flights really, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. And on the way back, it's very same route.
A friend of mine,
Rosario to Panama, Panama to New York, New York to Dublin.
Dublin, yeah.
A friend of mine went to a wedding lately. His son was getting married in Ecuador, and he found that the cheapest route was from Shannon from Dublin, Dublin to Madrid, and a direct flight then from Madrid across.
Yeah.
I think it's about 8 hours. I think 9 hours. I think it was across.
Still, the price was the difference in price was somewhere around 700 to 800 euro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big
I opted out. I said, "What's the big deal? I can stop in Panama and then take another flight. What's the big deal?"
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Panama is. I said it's nice. I'd like to see Panama. It's a nice country. I'd say if you time there in Panama.
At this time of year, it was lashing rain. It reminded me so much of home, Ireland.
Yeah.
I met a student today from Nicaragua, and I was asking him about what kind of a country is Nicaragua now, you know? Because I was never there, and he was saying that it's a long ways to come from Nicaragua to Ireland, but he's studying in Tufts, the university in Limerick, and he was saying that there's the political situation in Nicaragua is not positive. That's the way he put it. You know, it's not positive. You know, because the last time I remember meeting a couple of years and years ago, a couple from the Dominican Republic who were nurses, the husband and wife, who had gone to Nicaragua during the 1980s war with the Contras and the Sandinistas.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the Sandinistas are still in power in Nicaragua.
Daniel Ortega, the man with the glasses.
So, that was a...
And it's actually getting back to Panama. Panama is the only country in South America that has no currency. They use the American dollar. Their currency, I think that it's gone since about the 50s. They gave up they had no other choice to give up the currency. The Balboa, I think is what it was called. And they use the American dollar all the time. They're the only ones in South America that use the American dollar as their currency, really because of the canal, you know, and the amount of chips going through and the amount of currency traveling between America, you know. But I don't think they own that anymore. The Chinese, I think, control the canal now.
They don't control the canal. They operate the ports.
It's a port, is it? Yeah, there was something in it that, and then there was terrible trouble over that for years as to who owned it, and I don't know, we could be here all night talking about that, and the same with Nicaragua. They're always fighting in Nicaragua, always, and always will be, I think, you know, that it's a very volatile country, Nicaragua is, you know, with between communism and, oh God, and then who's backing it? You had a big trouble at the time with arms for Nicaragua, with who was involved in that? I really forget. There was a colonel. What was his name? There was, I can't think of his name now, the colonel that was over it.
Oh, Oliver North.
Oliver North, yeah.
Oliver
But
North.
He was kind of a scapegoat really in the end.
He was, yeah, by Ronald Reagan, I think.
Yeah,
Oh.
Reagan, it was. So Reagan,
Yeah. I remember those hearings, you know.
Yeah. And he did.
Those hearings.
I remember he had what you
Hi,
call it.
Mary, welcome.
I'm only coming in for a second. I might as well be talking to you all. Send
You can talk away.
No, I might as well be sending you messages forever, and you never look at your WhatsApp. Chaharan asked, Cha.
Are you saying something?
There's a delay on my message. I'm just putting this up, and then I leave.
Okay. Oh, yes, to display that picture, is it? Is that the last picture you sent me? Oh, yeah. As part of Culture Night, Chaharn is organising an event to celebrate the rich history of beat clubs in the city. I have that already on my thing. I was going to read it out before the program finished, but I'll read it out now, sure. The event brings together memories, music and more by revisiting the sites where Limerick youth came together to express their generation on their own terms. This is on the 19th of September, which is tomorrow week, Friday week, with a 5 p.m. start in St. Joseph's Hall featuring a set of 7-inch discs from the year spun by our own Paul O'Meara, invoking echoes of the sounds from Club Go-Go, The Cavalier and Taboo. A walking tour will depart St. Joseph's at 6 o'clock, led by John O'Regan. It will visit the original city centre sites where the newly labelled teenagers sought out the sounds heard on pirate broadcasts of Radio Caroline or Radio Luxembourg. Here, beat bands The Granny's Intentions, Chosen Few, and a host of others, including Them, featuring a very young Van Morrison, played. Beat sounds were also championed in these venues by other DJs Danny Hughes and Peter Jackson. So that's all happening on
Lower Rathmines Road, the modern frontier of an age-old conflict. Lower.
What's that there?
So that's Chaharn on his history of the beat clubs. Did you remember the Chosen Few, Tony? Did you?
Can I went to John O'Regan? No, John O'Regan never went to the Go-Go, sir. A historian. That's why somebody called me a historian. So John O'Regan would never went to the Cavalier, sir, before his time. I'd like to know. Maybe he's out there. He could do us ringing and tell us.
Yeah.
Who wonders?
Mary, if you're listening to us online, you might take down that message, because since you put it up on your end, I can't take it down on my end, and it's covering all of us online at the moment. The program is The Panel on LairMedia.tv, and we're happy to go live on Facebook at the moment, and
Share the thing with the three Johnnies which I went to there in the Lyric. And he'd Mickey Mac doing compost. So Mickey Mac mispronounced some of the places. Mickey Mac didn't remember them. And well, I know it. Anyway, I brought a group to see the Cavalier, not the Cavalier Club, but the Go-Go. I brought the historical side to see it there about 2 years ago, I'd say.
Where was the Cavalier Club sited?
We'll be telling them all who see that they get information from this. The Cavalier Club was above in Hafstone Street.
All right.
And the Go-Go was in Post Office Lane. You know, and they were, I remember the fellas that ran them, both the Cavalier and the Go-Go. And the Granny's intentions, well, they were the intentions that time. They were kind of gone out of town then. They went away. They went to Dublin first, and then they went to England.
Yeah.
But there's a few people be kind of bluffing their way now there. So anyway.
Well, that's on Friday week, the 19th. There's an awful lot of events around the country. It's called Culture Night, as part of Culture Night. And the majority of those events are free. Any chance we could take down that? Yes, great, fantastic. Now we're back again, and we can all see each other. But that's the.
Will I meet you at the Go-Go Club? The Cavaliers.
They're fascinating names. Yeah, fascinating names.
There should be Whiskey a Go-Go, if that's the place I'll go.
Whiskey a Go-Go. Whiskey a Go-Go.
We're talking about the 60s here now, about 60, 65, 66. You know.
Yeah, I suppose down in Kilkenny, Guy, you have the famous Kettler's Inn where everything happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a lovely place actually.
Kilkenny, yeah.
The bottom
Very,
of the
very
snake.
traditional pub.
She got a raw deal, she did, poor Alice Kittler.
Poor Alice.
She did, you know. Anyway,
Are there any families of that name left around the place now? Kittler?
No.
You're going back to the 1600s, you know.
Most probably.
Kilkenny, if we had a quiz and asked about the cities of Ireland, most people forget about Kilkenny. It's been having a city status. You can't forget that. You know, there are many cities in Ireland.
Yeah.
It's nice. I used to have to go to when I was treasurer of a group called the Federation for Local Histories of Ireland, and we'd meet in Roth House.
Yes.
Every 6 weeks.
Yes.
I used to have to go down to Kilkenny for a meeting.
Yes.
And they changed the system did after 5 years, you know, and I was toughed out and to bring in a new committee again, you know.
Yeah.
I used to enjoy going down to Kilkenny, you know, and we'd have our dinner across the road in there's a restaurant across the road, I can't think of the name of it now this minute, where we used to go to across the road. Anyway, kind of
the Italian Connection.
Which?
The Italian Connection?
No, it's kind of a local one. What do you know now in Kilkenny?
Bollards.
Which?
Bollards.
No.
It's also a very well.
I've gone back a few years now and I forget, you know. But anyway, but Kilkenny is nice, you know, very, very historic, of course, you know, and run by one family, the Butlers, the Ormonds, who owned the castle there. And actually, the last Marquess handed that over when he was living in Chicago anyway, and he gave that over to the city of Kilkenny, which he could have held on to it and sold it, you know. But he gave that over free to the government, the city of Kilkenny. The last Duke of the Marquess of Ormond to us. He wasn't the Duke. Anyway, we're getting into too much history here.
No, it's all interesting facts to know. I was just thinking as you're talking there, Guy, that outside of Ireland and America, the biggest Irish ethnic group is probably represented in Argentina.
Oh yeah.
You know, outside of...
It's a discovery for me. It was a discovery.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize how powerful the community is and how very well knitted together. They're very strong together.
Yeah.
They do lots of social work. They do lots of, also religiously connected. They're very, very good community, strong community.
Yeah, Mary Robinson, when she was president, visited the Irish community in Argentina. I remember that. You know, it was a huge gathering of people when she went out there. You know, but and I can appreciate it now and understand why it was important to do that. You know, it would be very.
Yeah, I met a few people who are from the Irish community society, and they come very Irish names such as Casey.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, like very, very Irish
names.
There's
a few books written on that, on the Irish in Argentina over the years, because there's several books written about the Irish who went, like, for example, in America, you have the state of Montana. They're more Irish in Montana than any other part of America. They all went out for the smelting. What would you call it? They went out to the mines out in Montana.
The gold rush.
No, not the gold rush. No, I can't think what it was. It ore or some of those, one of those.
Copper mines. The copper mines.
All the all went out there, and the Irish did. An awful lot of Irish went and settled in Montana, and a huge Irish community there in Montana. But that's what brought it. And then, of course, while the Blasket died, the people from the Blaskets went to Springfield in Massachusetts. You know, if so many people that wanted to be together, and all kind of knew. There's an old saying, Guy, what have you ever heard? There's an old saying in Ireland: the devil you know is better than the one you don't know. You know, so kind of wonder, you know, which is right, which is wrong. And there's a big Irish community as well in Chile. There's another Irish community there. Because another Bernardo O'Higgins, he's the man that founded the Chilean army for Chile. Although getting back to Argentina, their economy went crazy there in the 80s. The Chile Argentine economy went crazy. It did altogether. After Corona, it went.
The country went more or less bankrupt, so bailed out by the IMF. You know, the country itself.
They're still in a bad state, you know, but not as bad as it was, you know. And the same with Venezuela. Their economy is crazy as well. Crazy altogether, it is in Venezuela.
Think about these countries such as Argentina and Venezuela. They were the strongest economies probably in the world in their time.
Absolutely.
There's one thing wrong with some of those countries, Guy, and I'm sure you'll agree. The ruination of man is greed. People just want more and more, you know, and it kills the thing, you know. And when pressure governments get in,
well, you had regimes, dictators who were responsible for a lot of the misery, you know, in those countries.
But in fairness, from a point of view, a different point of view, I think this is Latin America. This is Catholic continent.
Yeah,
it would be so important for helping out, for giving a hand in their development, etc., on the religious basis. Remember, I mean, we are more or less I mean, look at us in Ireland. I mean, one time we were Catholic Ireland. I mean, where are we today? You know, that kind of way. So
I know we did get reputation for being the island of saints and scholars.
Yeah, and then vocation-wise, it looks like there's still a mine of priests still coming in from Latin America and being in our communities here. Yeah. So, in my opinion, anything that can be done to look after them in a way or another would be very much, I think.
I know, and there's no guarantee because there's no guarantee of anything in life today. I must say, whether you're Catholic or Christian or you're a Christian country, look at our own small country where you have almost 5,000 children homeless in 2025, and probably 40 or 50,000 of our own Irish citizens homeless as well, or semi-homeless, or whatever you want to call it. People couch surfing, as they call it, sleeping in friends' houses 1 or 2 nights a week, and etc.
In fairness, but I want to just reiterate on what you're saying. How is it allowed that we have in Ireland people who are living on the street, literally? It's beyond my understanding. I'm sorry, but we are a country with resources. We should be able to cater for everyone.
The politicians don't care. They go on and they just waffle away. They do, you know, and nobody answers a direct question. Politicians will never answer yes or no. They just waffle away, and they get away with it. You see, you know.
Technically speaking, Tony, when a contract is drafted for a large project, infrastructure project or construction, it is with a certain amount of money, with a certain time limit. So as a contractor, you are contracted to do this work for
Yeah.
this much money, for
Yeah.
this, for in
Fine.
time.
Yeah.
What happens is that as if we have a kind of a loose, open pocket that actually no problem at all. You finish when you want, and you claim as much as you want over and over. And these projects are actually killing us. Why didn't we ever think of bringing that company? There are Korean construction companies. There are many construction, even Irish construction companies working in the Gulf states that will be respecting the time frame and the amount of money allocated in the contract, and we will see delivery.
And the primary example now, as we know, is the National Children's Hospital,
Oh my God!
which is a blight on the country, and I don't think there's anybody taking any responsibility for it. Nobody. They're all pushing it over to this committee, that committee, that one, and it's just a national disaster at this stage, I would say.
It's farcical, absolutely farcical. At a time when we really need to look after our budgets, and this is the week of the budget, isn't it? Very soon.
Yeah.
So we really need to know how the expenditure is being done to build on it.
But it will just come and pass again, and that'll be it, and they'll talk about Christmas coming. I had an announcement today now for some other minister. They make these announcements of billions. It fascinates me that there's fifth, I don't know what, we'll just say that you hear an announcement tomorrow. The Minister for Education is putting in 15 billion. And that's it. That's just a big statement, and you don't hear how it's going to be given properly. They'll tell you there's 4 million going to this and 3 million going to that, make it up to 15. But that's it. The whole thing that is just forgotten about. The Minister for Finance is given 15 billion. He's given 38 billion to this. The whole system's crazy. It is, And I couldn't be the only one in the country that thinks that.
I haven't heard of it, Tony, but I can say something with regard to education. Any penny spent on education is a penny well spent. It's just that how are they going to distribute that amount of money over the schools? That's the big issue. But otherwise, I would be 100%.
Look at all the TDs, all the teachers that got money in schools, and they're up in the door as teachers. There are no teachers up there than anything else. That's crazy.
I think, Tony, it's the new contracts, the new teachers who are coming in. They're coming at very, very low salaries, I'm telling you. And that will not encourage anyone to go into that.
No, I agree with you. But they're leaving the country. They're not staying in the country, you say.
No, they're not staying. No, they're leaving.
What way the school is going to be run? It's a big problem, and how many, there's a girl told me now, a teacher told me I think she has 9 or 11 nationalities in the classroom, and she's forbidden to teach religion in the school. I mean, that's crazy. As far as I'm concerned, that's crazy. Where do you draw the line with all this? Teachers are being pushed into this corner. They get sick of it. They just give up. It isn't worth it.
I agree with you there. On a personal note, if I'm speaking to teachers after I would say there's so much that they have to be aware of now when they're standing in front of the class, But we do not hear enough teachers' voices in the media and the public about the situation. We don't hear enough of them at all, and I don't know why. Is it because their jobs are insecure? I don't know.
But then, talking about badly paid, then I dispute that. Then when they're being paid, well, some of them they do contracts, no, they're not. But most of them were being paid, and they had fantastic holidays. They were off for nearly about 10 weeks in the summertime. They're off at Christmas time. They're off at Easter, and they're fantastic.
Halloween.
And they say it's a hard job, but they're still finished most of them are finished in the afternoons at 3:30. It's a fantastic job. And a great time off, whereas I don't know, I wouldn't agree with somebody else to have it all. Whether it's a hard job or not, I don't know. You know, I know they're older. When you get older children, then they can be mischievous and interrupt a lot of things. But there
Um,
should be ways of stopping that. You know,
Tony, there was a time definitely when being a civil servant is a security for life. Okay,
yeah.
but that I agree. But there is one thing with regard to teachers and teaching. They are actually dealing day in, day out with all the ailments of society. There are so much in their classrooms
Yes, yes.
that
Children
from
going
kind of
hungry.
internal kind of wind of what's going on in classes. It's wow. The challenges that they are facing are no longer the same ones as they used to face back in the 70s and 80s. All the children were regulated into exactly the same system. Now they're coming with their problems, social problems.
I mean, we went to national school barefoot to mind our shoes for the winter time. They're around our neck. We went barefoot if the day was fine to save our shoes. Most of us were going. Well, nearly all of us were in the same boat. But I dare say that the problems today are totally different. You have children going into school who are hungry, who don't have food in the morning in their stomachs, and you can't learn. You're not in a position to concentrate or anything if you're hungry going to school. We know that. Even as adults, we know ourselves. You know, if you're going to work hungry, you're agitated.
You see, the very fabric of their families is totally different.
Yes.
I mean, we're not talking anymore about 60s, 70s, how everything was
Oh,
classified.
no,
It's
no.
totally a whole new entire spectrum of stuff happening in the schools that one kind of wonder, is the job worth it? You know, Tony, when you said, yes, they are emigrating because, I mean, what job in the world right now freaks out when the inspector comes in? I mean, they are all professional people with university graduates who have years of training. Do they really need an inspector to come in and actually evaluate the quality of their work? Shouldn't that be something internal?
I remember that when the inspector would come, you know, they'd all be nearly shaking when the inspector was coming to
Which job? Show me a job in Ireland today that has an inspector that comes in and you're like fucking freaking out. I'm sorry.
I tell you something now tonight, right? If I was to go into town now tonight, Thursday night, the pubs are full with students. Full with them. I saw them tonight going down the street. They were going down in 6s and 7s, right?
Plenty of money.
Oh, and that's happening. Oh, there's plenty of money they have for spending on liquor. Now, tomorrow, they will be drunk in the morning going into class. Some of them will. They probably won't have any classes anyway, and I blame the colleges for that.
No, the official classes are starting on next Monday morning, the 15th.
But on Friday mornings, a lot of the universities, they don't care about classes because they know the students are coming in drunk. That's well known. So how do you stop that? And they're going to be the leaders of the community. I saw them last night in the pub. I was talking to 7 girls last night in a pub. They were going down here to what they call it Mary I. When I was a child, it was always Mary Immaculate. But anyway, and like that, first of all, out of the 7 of them, there was not one of them doing history in school. And they're going to be teachers now, don't forget. And I was watching them, they were well able to drink. They were all drinking alcohol, the whole 7 of them, because I was able to scan the tables where they were sitting. And I mean, I said to myself, isn't this a lovely state for new girls, new students going to school, going to college? And they have plenty of money for drink, and they'll have drink before they have food. And most of them, the ones tonight, they will go in. It's well known that on Friday morning, they're basically drunk when they go into the classroom.
Now, from time to time, we play a little comedy sketch because people like them. We have, I know you remember that great English comedy, Yes Minister.
Yeah.
This is a classic.
Don't tell me about the press. I know exactly who reads the papers. The Daily Mirror is read by people who think they run the country. The Guardian is read by people who think they ought to run the country. The Times is read by the people who actually do run the country. The Daily Mail is read by the wives of the people who run the country. The Financial Times is read by people who own the country. The Morning Star is read by people who think the country ought to be run by another country. And the Daily Telegraph is read by people who think it is.
I'm Prime Minister. What about the people who read The Sun?
Sun readers don't care who runs the country as long as she's got big tits.
That was the wonderful Derek Fowles and John Eddington. I mean, really, that was just absolutely priceless, you know. Now that sums up. I dare say some of that commentary could be translated into. Although we have quite a spread of newspapers in Ireland, you know, as well, you know. I suppose you could translate, you know.
The influence from England are the paper, most of them are. The tabloids, the basic English newspapers, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't even handle them, let alone read them, you know. But some of those papers are dreadful papers there. You can tell a man's intelligence by the paper he reads, I do believe. That's my summing up of what people read. You know, you have a good idea. Even that goes for Sunday as well, Sunday newspapers. When I see people with certain newspapers, I know what their intelligence level is. You know.
So what's your favourite Sunday newspaper?
I won't answer. She to say I'm being big-headed. You know. Business Post is a good newspaper. You know.
Yeah, I'd buy, if I was buying one, I'd buy that one, because you can read it for a couple of days. It'd take a couple of days to read it, you know.
And then you can get the English, well, they call it the Irish, the Sunday Times, but it's really an English paper again. And you'd end up, if you were to bring that every week, you'd end up with muscles to hold up that newspaper. It's so heavy. And you've all these various anyway. We're not here to promote newspapers, you know. Well, although very few. There's the guy that owns Limerick Leader. His surname is Denmark, an unusual. I think he has about 7 titles he owns in the country, and you'd wonder like how they're all doing. You know, it's because people are buying less and less newspapers, which is a shame, really.
Well, that's because I suppose an awful lot of the information is online. You know, online.
Can't trust what you're reading online half the time. You know, I wouldn't anyway. You know, reading stuff online. I don't know what we do now. They're reading stuff online.
No, I mean, a lot of the news channels are online.
Yeah.
The news stations, CBS, NBC, CNN, Sky, they're all online, you know. All of them are online.
But then you pay for all these things as well. That if people, I mean, I don't have half those channels, and people say to me, I have this channel, I have that channel. You must be paying for it. I said, you know, you won't get these things free. You know, you have to pay for it. It's like, what's the Netflix? I don't have it. I don't want it. You know, and people argue what the price of Netflix. They say it's a rip-off, this, that. I couldn't care less because I don't have it, and I said I don't want it. You know, if you want some of these foreign channels, you pay for them. I have a basic set, and I hate even paying for that. You know, I don't have any what I call fancy channels. I'm not interested really anyway. You know, I just take what I have.
Yeah, if you just want basic news, you know, but the younger generation are unfortunately dependent on podcasts and TikTok for information. At a basic level, that information is probably okay, you know. But if you want to go into a deeper level about a story and behind the story, well, that's where journalists comes in then, you see.
Yes, that's real.
Journalism really kicks in, you know.
And flicking the telephones, it's unreal. You know, we're coming to the extent that people, they just can't stay away from telephones, from mobile phones. I don't know what the fixation is. with mobile and watching rubbish. Do you know what I've done this few times? I've tempted. I saw this girl only last Monday. I didn't know who she was. And I said, she could have hit me for all I know. I just said to her, will you mind me asking you what you're looking at there? Is it important? And she looked at me. She laughed and she said, no. She said, I was just flicking through. You know, it's unreal. Flicking through nothing. All mindless stuff. And just can't put down the phones.
So are we saying that as a result of that we're losing the art of conversation?
Oh,
the art of
you see restaurants, I see two people on telephones, and one is looking at. Now, there's no conversation at all, which is a shame, really. You know, that every few seconds they're picking up a phone. You know, God, I don't know. And what they're paying for those as well. Don't forget, you don't have a mobile phone free. You have to pay for it. You know, somewhat along the line.
Well, we've come to the end of our show, gentlemen. It has been a fast running hour. We thank the people who tuned into us. I can see in here. We thank the people who made a comment on the show as well. To Guy Jones, to Tony Brown and myself, until we meet again, maybe next Thursday night. Who knows where we'll be next Thursday night? We'll try and be all together somewhere, you know.
In Argentina, maybe.
Yeah, Buenos Aires. From this edition from Buenos Aires, from Limerick, and from Shannon. Take care, guys, and have a good week.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This is Rare Media. To whom it concerns, welcome to the panel.